Welcome back to the Grey Script and Everything in Between podcast. This week we're talking about something that quietly sits underneath everything we've covered so far. Self-worth, healing, trauma, mindset, belief systems, because eventually the question becomes, what is this all for? What is the point of what I've been through? Now, if you're like me, I keep asking myself this recently, like, how have I survived everything I've been through? Like, what's the point of the lessons, the heartbreak, the growth, the rebuilding? And here is what I believe deeply. Nothing that's happened to you, that you've experienced, is wasted. Not the pain, not the confusion, not the delays, not even the mistakes. This episode is about purpose. And I want to gently challenge something straight away. Purpose isn't something you find. It's something that you embody. So purpose isn't outside of you. Most people believe that purpose is a job, a title, a business, a role, a calling that arrives dramatically. But purpose isn't a destination. It's an alignment. It's that feeling when you're just being yourself. You're not pretending, you're not shrinking, you're not chasing approval, and life feels like it's flowing. Do you know that feeling? When you're doing something and time just disappears. When you help someone and it feels natural. When you speak about something and your energy changes. That tug, that quiet inner pull, that is purpose whispering. And here's the important part. You don't discover purpose by searching harder. You uncover it by removing what isn't you. When you experience trauma, it creates two paths. And we need to go into this honestly now, because trauma changes people. When you've experienced rejection, abuse, neglect, betrayal, loss, being unheard, being unseen, losing yourself, you send a fork into the road, and there is two real outcomes. The path one is the hardening. You harden. You become bitter. You believe that life happens to you. You believe that you are unlucky. You adopt a fixed mindset. You stop dreaming. You blame the world. You expect disappointment. And you protect yourself by shutting down. And here's the truth. That reaction makes sense. It's protection. But protection long term becomes a prison. When we believe, why bother? What's the point? Nothing works for me. We disconnect from ourselves and our purpose. Because purpose requires openness. Path 2, choosing growth. The second path is different. And it's probably the harder one. You decide, maybe slowly, maybe painfully, that you want more. You don't pretend trauma didn't happen. You just don't glorify it. You choose not to let it define you. You become kinder because you know pain. More aware because you've reflected. Ambitious because you want change. Grateful, not because trauma was good, but because you survived it. And you begin asking, how can I use what I went through to help someone else? And that is the question that changes everything. Everything has a reason without spiritual bypassing. So let's clarify something important. Saying everything happens for a reason does not mean abuse was okay. Loss was meant to hurt you. Pain was a gift. It means that you were strong enough to survive it. And now you get to decide what it becomes. Your experiences shape your empathy. Your pain sharpens your awareness. Your struggles develop resilience, but only if you consciously choose growth. Purpose grows from integration, not avoidance. Purpose is embodied. So it isn't found in a lightning bolt moment. It shows up in how you speak to people, show up in relationships, raise your children, build your work, handle setbacks, and how you treat yourself. Purpose is expressed in energy. You can work in any job and live with purpose. You can parent with purpose. You can heal with purpose. You can build with purpose. Purpose is living in alignment with your values. Ask yourself, when do you feel most like yourself? When do you feel calm and powerful at the same time? When do you feel proud, not because of praise, but because you showed up fully? That is embodiment. There is some signs that you are disconnected from purpose. And I'm always honest. You may feel numb, directionless, restless, envious of others, easily triggered, and angry at life. Often this isn't because you lack purpose, it's because you've disconnected from yourself. When you then constantly please others, shrink yourself, live with fear or from fear, choose validation, ignore intuition, you mute your inner calling. Purpose requires courage. It requires you to just be brave. You were given the battles that you've experienced because you are strong. And I want to say this carefully. You didn't deserve your trauma. No one deserves what anyone does to them. But you did survive it. And that says so much more about you. That you are strong, that you are adaptable, that you are resilient. And maybe, just maybe, your experiences are not random. Maybe they are for shaping you for something bigger. Not in a dramatic way, but in a grounded, embodied way. Your story might be the thing that helps someone else breathe. Your growth might give your children a different blueprint. Your healing might break generational patterns. That is purpose. So I have a little worksheet. If you want to pause the video after I've given you these, or pause the YouTube channel podcast after I give you these, then you can. If not, then write them down maybe, and maybe do it at the evening just before you go to bed. So ask yourself these questions. Section 1 is your two paths. Where have I hardened because of pain? Where have I chosen growth instead? And what beliefs do I hold about life? Is it happening to me or for me? Section 2, your inner calling. What topics energize you when you speak about them? When do you lose track of time? What do people naturally come to you for? What injustice or struggle deeply moves you? Section 3, in an embodiment check. Am I living aligned with my values? Where am I shrinking? Where am I overcompensating? And what would alignment look like in small daily actions? Section 4, reframing your trauma. What strengths did my struggles develop? How has my pain increased my empathy? What wisdom have I gained? And how could I use my experiences to serve others? And section 5 is the declaration. Finish this sentence. My purpose is not something I find. It is something I embody. Bye. And that's it for this week. So I am always taking on new clients. If you feel called to reach out to me and find out what the one-to-one coaching entails, then please do so. You can find me over on Facebook. Just search the Grey Script and Everything in Between podcast. And yeah, I'd love to know how you're getting on with these podcasts. If you're keeping up to date, if you're listening to everyone, if you've gone back to re-listen because you needed just a little bit more of that thinking. As I say, these podcasts are for you to help you start healing yourself. Mental health is a massive thing that is worldwide, and trying to get help at the moment is very, very hard. It's been very, very hard for such a long time. I'm not telling you that my one-to-one coaching will heal you completely and that you won't need some source of talking therapy or some course of counselling, but I will reassure you that my coaching will give you the tools that you start healing yourself and you start becoming stronger and more confident and more able to deal with the things that just pop up whilst also you're waiting. It could be like one-to-one therapy while you're waiting for talking therapy, or CBT, or timeline therapy. Just know that everything I do in regards to these podcasts and how I show up on social media is because I know how hard it is. Some days, some weeks, some months. I don't want you to be alone. I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to think you are alone. And I don't want you to think that there's no other option, that this is what your life is meant to be like for the rest of your life. So until next week, be kind to yourself. Please do the work. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.